This is Tracking Treasures. I've been kind of looking at some of the maps and seeing where I want to go next year and trying to plot out some places. And this is a 1874 map of around the area where I live. Well, you can see this spot right here is where my sister lives. In 1874, it shows a house there. See where it says Fairgrounds? I tried to get permission to metal detect that, and the guy wouldn't answer me. So, you just got to move on, right? Okay, so here is a close-up where my sister lives. And you can see right here, right along this line, it shows the house. And I know these are not totally accurate, but within enough reason to give you the place to look. It shows a little creek here, Better Creek here, and the house right in here. There's was a house on this corner. That's pretty accurate to where that was. So now I'll show you a current map, and I'll have to come out a little way here and show you the same property. So here is that same piece of property. Here's that line. So according to that map, that house was somewhere right in here. Now that kind of fits with a little bit of scouting around that I've done out there. And I showed you this old foundation we found right in here. But it was too small to really be anything, and we didn't really find much around it. However, my niece told me there was an old well there, so what we did was we tracked back along this ravine, found the well right in here. Well, that would make sense with the house being about right here. So my thought is, there was a house, well, maybe an outbuilding, looked like a root cellar maybe even. So there has to be outhouse trash pit back here somewhere. Okay, like I said, ravine. So that's a pretty good place to start looking, but I'll tell you that there's two ravines on this property, or creeks. That's a really pretty deep creek. Ravine. The water itself is not all that high, but it's a flash flood creek, and it's got really steep banks. And I have walked part of it, but not all of it. Here's another one that kind of comes down and it goes into that one. So, and that well is right out here somewhere. So I'm thinking house, well, outbuildings, usually somewhere behind the house would have been an outhouse. Trash pit probably got thrown into that ravine. Sad to say. So that's kind of an area where I'm planning on going to look. So I've walked this creek. This is my sister's house, and this is my niece's house. I've actually got in this creek about right down here and walked this way. And I did find milk bottle. I found an old sign. I found a few things, but they're like from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Didn't find anything super old in that part. I tried to walk back up this way, and there's a big deadfall right there that I can't get past. And the creek here is, the banks are just so steep I can't get down in that area. So there is more of a little kind of where the creek branches off here and then comes together with this one later on. This is a smaller one, so I might try to get down into that next spring and see what I can find. So I just I've been out here a few times and looked, and I found a lot of brick and stuff up here, but on maps of like 1980, I did find that this was woods and there was a building there, but it's been torn down. Now that house shows here, so I don't think that had anything to do with it, because it would have been further back here. So I'm gonna go back and look into this area again and see what I can find. So wish me luck.